So this is Dr. Lisa. I wanted to talk about something today that has come up in several of my sessions, and I thought it would be a really great thing to mention. It's the idea of zoning out. When we get overwhelmed with our day and things that are happening in our life, it's super easy to just kind of need that downtime where we zone out. So it might be looking on your phone, it might be watching Netflix or something on TV, and maybe it's even reading a book. Sometimes zoning out is otherwise referred to as maybe a good distraction, where you're just not having to think about anything that's been happening in your day, or if you feel very overwhelmed. I wanted to bring to light the concept of zoning in. It is very different than zoning out, obviously, given the name, but zoning in has got a very purposeful, intentional meaning behind it. So if you're struggling with something, maybe somebody in your life has a chronic illness, or you're a caregiver for somebody, or you've recently lost somebody close to you, or you've recently had a breakup, or something that just really feels like, ugh, I just want to zone out and I don't want to think about it anymore because it's so emotionally overwhelming. That is a great technique and a coping mechanism that allows you to kind of calm down and not have to have that heightened anxiety and that stress and that sadness with all of those emotions that come up. But I want to just kind of talk about the aspect of zoning in and how that can add to your repertoire of coping skills. Sometimes when we don't attend to life, whatever that might be, situations, we can become kind of like your mind doesn't want to go there, but your body starts to kind of keep the score, as Bessel van der Kolk always used to say in his teachings on trauma in the brain and the neurobiology behind what happens between our mind and our body when we're stressed, when we're anxious, when we're depressed or overwhelmed. If your mind isn't focused on it, if we're not processing it, if we're not talking about it, if we're not getting support in a healthy way, our body will definitely let you know, whether it's by stress, by overeating, by not wanting to get up in the morning. And for a lot of people, it's panic, and it's really anxiety feelings, like the when your chest gets really heavy and your heart starts to race and you get sweaty and shaky. Some people kind of feel dissociated a little bit, like they don't even feel connected to their thoughts or their feelings. Some people say they're numb. Other people really kind of put it inward and get really anxious, and you might not be able to tell on the outside what they're feeling at all. Other people will act that out by yelling and crying and screaming, being very irritable. That can also be kind of your body's way of releasing tension. And so when we zone in, if we realize that our body is starting to kind of manifest the anxieties and the stress and the worry that you're having, what can be very helpful is to spend even just 10 minutes a day when you are relatively calm and making it be very purposeful for you to do some deep breathing and some maybe square breathing. And us here at Synergy are able to teach you a lot of these coping skills. Maybe it's something to do just by going outside and breathing in the fresh air and thinking about what you feel, feeling it in your body and becoming connected to the feeling. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming. So having good supports, having a therapist or a great friend that is aware of thoughts and feelings and kind of who you are to help ground you is really important. Being grounded and having the skill set before you kind of expose yourself to all these thoughts and feelings is super helpful. And that's where therapy can come in as well, is to be able to help you learn these skills to allow your mind and your body to do what it needs to do to process our everyday, so that you don't have nightmares and you're not having trouble sleeping, and that you're not eating too much or too little. We need the combination of some zoning out and some zoning in that is very purposeful. And I think that what's important in all of this is that you take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself isn't constantly zoning out and going on the phone or watching Netflix. Sometimes it is just sitting with yourself and just paying attention, scanning from top to bottom. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? How intense is it from a 1 to 10 scale? These are all things that a cognitive behavioral therapist especially will help implement and help you understand. Zoning in and zoning out, different kind of tactics that can help add tools to your coping skills toolbox that we all need to use throughout our days, our weeks, and our years as we grow and change and have different life experiences. So please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us Synergy eTherapists. We allow the flexibility so that you can, have this type of therapy. Just like you see me now on the screen, this is kind of how we would see each other, and we would talk about what's going on for you and teach you a lot about anxiety and depression and your brain and your body and how it all works together so you have a great understanding. So when you implement these coping skills that we do teach people all the time, and it really, research shows that these are the things that actually help for you to feel better throughout your day, manage some of the anxiety and the emotions that do come in, and not to just constantly zone out. That's the point where your body is just going to start to react. And we want to try to avoid that. We want to be very intentional and very purposeful as to really examining, how am I feeling? Where is this coming from? Am I actually dealing with what's happening, or am I completely avoiding it? And our brains and our body is connected, and so we can't really escape ourselves. And we want to help you become comfortable with everything you've experienced and learn that you have what it takes to manage it. So if you do have any questions, feel free to head over to the website, synergyetherapy.com. You can take a peek at any of the therapists and the states that you're licensed, and we'd be happy to give you a free consult or just start therapy for the initial intake session. Everything is automatically done on the website, even including scheduling, so you don't have to deal with the back and forth of phone calls if you don't have any questions. If you do have questions, please reach out. You can email us, info@synergyetherapy.com, and we are happy to work with you, work with a family member. We work with older kids and teens often. We work with couples and just families as a unit. So we have varied expertise and are waiting to really help our community in the states in which we're licensed start to thrive and feel better. I hope this was helpful. Thanks.